Hi there, welcome to an AutoCAD session. In this video we'll be drawing this simple orthographic drawing. On our left of the screen we have the front and the plan. This is in first angle projection. What we're drawing is a plastic pipe holder. So get your laptop, open AutoCAD so that you can see what I have here. Most of the time your AutoCAD won't look exactly like this. If you're in full screen mode, you see these parts here where we have some tools are going to be appearing in a different way. You can see I can see different tools, but when I'm back to this mode here, you can see only my drawing tools here are visible. The others here have been kind of squashed together, so that's not a very big problem. You will still be able to follow through. So let's get started. Click on new and you have this new drawing here. Your background might not look white, don't worry about that. It might be a different color. Just a few settings can make you have this white color. So if you come to this part of your screen, you select it, go to options. Under options, select the display tab here, and then click on the button that says colors. Select 2D model space, and then under color here you can put it as white and you have the same color as mine. After you select white, select apply and close. Since you changed settings, this apply button will be able to be clicked. Click it and then press OK. You have a white background like that. The other thing I would want us to change a bit is grid lines. I'll turn off these grid lines so that it can just be a bit more easier to work with. You select that, you can see you have the grid lines go off. I'll switch on ortho mode. Here you can see two perpendicular lines, or alternatively you can just press F8, but I'll use my mouse like that. And then I'll switch on my reference lines for snapping. They might be off. Sometimes you need to change the tracking settings, but most of the times the first time you open AutoCAD everything is working fine. Unless you want to do a bit more of complicated drawings, yeah, I'll need to change those object snap options. We will also need to turn on our snap object snap here. Under object snap we have various types of snapping. Ensure you have endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant, intersection, and extension. Though we won't use extension so much, yeah, we use intersection, quadrant, and these here a lot in this video. All these other snap options can be very useful, but yeah, most of the times just turn on endpoint, midpoint, center, quadrant, intersection. To turn on, you just click. For example, if I want to turn on geometric center, I'll click, I'll see a check mark. That means I'm able to object snap with the geometric center of a particular object. That will be most of what we'll need to have. The first thing I recommend whenever you start a job is you save your work. So select this button here and save. We can save to our desktop. We'll call it our plastic pipe. Clip drawing. You see the name change here and at the top here. After we do that, we need to check our units. How we do that is just use a command in AutoCAD. So without selecting anywhere, we just start type units. Even when you just type unit, you'll be able to see AutoCAD give you an option of which command you want to use. There are a lot of commands in AutoCAD, and we'll learn the few basic ones that are useful. So units, we'll select enter. What we want to check is under here insertion scale, ensure it's in millimeters, and ensure your angles are in decimal degrees. Most of the times these are okay, but it's a good thing to just check. After we have done that, now let us start drawing. The first thing is drawing our paper. This drawing of ours will fit well on an A3 paper, so I'll get my rectangle tool. There are many ways I could get it with a command, but for these starter ones, I want you to know where the tools are found. So select rectangle. You see on my screen I'm asked to specify the first corner point. I want my corner point to be at 0, 0, so I'll type in 0, then look for the button where I have comma, so that I change to the next one, then I'll type in 0, press enter. You notice asks me to specify another corner point. Here we'll use the paper size. The length of an A3 paper is 420 millimeters, so I'll type in 420. I can also press comma to access the other one, because these are just like coordinates. Then I'll type in 297, then enter. You think we have done nothing because we can't see our rectangle, but it's actually somewhere here at the bottom. To get it in the center of our drawing, we'll go to our toolbar here where we have a magnifying glass. We select the drop down pattern, then select zoom extents. It's already selected. Sometimes it won't be selected, so this is why I'm showing you how you can get it if it's not selected. So we'll be drawing inside this rectangle this drawing. So we'll start with our front and then draw our plan. Some distances here will be kind of relying on your ability to understand engineering drawings, but I'll help you with that in this video. The first thing we can draw here is our bottom part, which is practically just part of a rectangle. We've got 200 and a 10. You could actually use a rectangle just to be fast. So I'll select my rectangle tool anywhere on my drawing. I'll select using a left click. So I'll select my rectangle like that, left click anywhere on the screen. Instead of clicking, you can see I have some input here. We call these options that have shown on screen your dynamic input options. Most of the times they are on AutoCAD, so I won't bore you with how you can turn them on. We'll type 200 because that distance is for the length. Then I'll press tab. After I press tab, I can enter another distance. You can see there's a 53 there. We'll change that to 10, and then I can press enter. After pressing enter, I have this rectangle. Now when you create a rectangle like this and we want to split it in two different parts, you can see it's a shape. We'll select it, and then we'll go to our modify tab. Under modify, you'll be able to see this option here, which looks like a box, the explode. Select it. After you select it, you'll see your rectangle will be now in parts. Each line that was connected will be broken down. The next thing we're going to draw is this 125, which is a distance to the top of our front, to be very helpful. In AutoCAD, how we can do that is select the line from which this dimension starts from this line here, and then we can copy this upwards at a distance of 125. Now the easiest, the best way is after you select, you go to your modify tab, then select offset, this option here. After selecting offset, you will be asked to specify the offset distance by AutoCAD. You type in 125 and press enter. Before you select anything, you see that AutoCAD will ask you which side you want the 125 to be. Do you want it to be above or below? So I'm changing this by just moving my mouse cursor up and down. I want it to be above, so after we are sure the position, we select and we have 125. That's offsetting. Next, we want to draw these arcs here that we are seeing. Notice we've been given a radius 55. We use that 55 to make the inner circle here. We are taking that this inner circle is directly in line with this line at the bottom here. So we're going to step off another, or offset another line. So we select, then we offset. Sorry about that. So we select, modify, we offset. As to specify the offset distance, which is 55. And then it's asked us to select the object offset. Why it asks us this time is because we didn't select an object. Yeah, so this is 55. Then this circle that we're going to draw has a radius of 55, so we'll come to the circle tool, select center radius, and then go to the middle of this line. Instead of typing 55, we can just go straight and snap to this midpoint, and you can see we have 55. So this is our inner circle. Notice we have center lines here. I'll show you just in a moment how we can change these lines to center lines. For now, let's keep them like that. So we draw another circle. We want to draw this circle here with a radius of 15. By observation or analysis, you can see that this is a tangent to this circle and a tangent to the point where we have 125. So we'll go to circle and then select tan radius, which means our circle is a tangent. As you can see there in the description by AutoCAD, we've got 2 points of tangency, and then we've got the radius of the circle. So you can see I have a green circle with a line that shows us it's a tangent. Then we go to another point, select tangent, then we specify our radius, which is 15. After that, we're going to utilize our offset tool. When you look at this arc that's here, it has a radius of 60, so the difference between 60 and 55 is 5. So we'll offset this circle here. It's best you select it and then go to modify, offset. You'll be asked about the distance. You type in 5. Notice I can offset inside or outside, so I go to the outside, select, I have my 60. I'll do the same for my inner circle here. However, this time we're offsetting inside, so when I select, I won't go outside like that. I'll come inside here, select. So I'm done with practically the top part. What I just need to do now is remove all the parts that I don't need. So I'll go to modify, I'll select the trim tool, then I'll start cutting out what I don't need. The bottom here, you can see there's no arc. I'll get rid of this line, this one, and this one. Notice I'm zooming in and out. To zoom in, you just scroll your middle mouse button like you're scrolling in a book. Then if I want to move this drawing around, when I select my middle mouse button, you can see a hand appears, and then I'm able to move this drawing around. So when I zoom, let's say I'm in a position where I don't see what I want to cut out, I can select the middle mouse button and hold and drag my mouse. The other thing that I don't need is this small arc here. You can also remove this one and this one, like that. Before I remove this other part here, well, I can remove it like that because we won't need that part. We now need to draw this small arc here. How we do that is first get your line tool, come to this point here until you see end point, select, draw going downwards until you reach this other circle, select, you have a line like that, press escape. Why we're doing this is so that we're able to have a midpoint here. You can see that we have a midpoint because we haven't selected a tool. After that, we'll select our circle with a radius. You can use any circle radius or circle diameter, it will be fine. The main thing is having a midpoint. Select the midpoint, then draw such that you have a green box highlighted at the end point. After that, press enter. Then we'll also get rid of this line that we drew and this arc on this side. You can move the drawing around using our middle mouse button and then get rid of this line. Now to see what has happened, I'll just zoom extents here so that we can see what we have now. After this, I'm going to show you how we can quickly copy this part onto the left part. To do that, we'll need a line here at the midpoint, which is acting as our center line, like this. Times you need to zoom like that. I'm still drawing a line, so I press escape, zoom extends that so that I can see. Now after we have this line, we will use another modify command, which is break. If you come to this option, you can see break at a point. One thing I want you to notice is at the bottom of all these, you can see the command that you can use. For example, if I want to access break at a point, under this dialog that comes at the bottom here, you can see there's letters which, if you read, are kind of break at a point. That is the command I can type in for me to access this too. So you can master all these words, or optionally you can just know which groups they are found in. If you want to draw, you find your options under the draw tab. If you want to edit or change something about your drawing, you find your tools under the modify tab. So I'll select that, select my object, then select this point. What I've done here is I've broken this arc into two parts. You will later see why I've done that. I'll select this arcing advance, go to break at a point, and then select. You can see I also have that. Now the next thing that remains, if you want, you can delete this line. I'll just select this arc, this one, this one, and this one. To deselect, you press shift and then select what you don't want. After that, we'll go to our modify tool group of tools, select mirror, then select a mirror line. When selecting a mirror line, you're not actually drawing but just showing AutoCAD where you want the mirror point to be. I want it to be along this line. You can see I'll select no, and I have my front drawn. You will probably be asking why I haven't drawn these hidden lines. They will be very difficult to place if we try to draw them right from here. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's better that we draw our plan, then from the plan we get the distances after placing these circles and then position them in our front. So I'll do just that. I'll select my rectangle tool. After selecting, I'll go to this endpoint, wait until I have a green box, then move my mouse downwards so that I have those green dotted lines. Those green dotted lines are showing me that I'm drawing with reference to that highlighted point, and I'm exactly under that point. After that, you can see I have some options to put in some distances. 200, I'll press tab, then 70, press enter. You notice my plan here has got some fillets, so I'll go to my modify tab, select fillet, select radius, and then type in 10, enter. That's how I'll add my fillets. I'll also repeat the process for these other ones. Still talking about the fillets, you notice I have a 3 here. That 3 is also a fillet. So I'll go to modify tab here, select fillet, go to my radius option in the command box. I'll type in 3. If I don't change this, I'll still be using the previous radius, which is 10. I want to also show you another trick. If I select multiple, I can keep adding fillets like this. I don't need to use my fillet tool multiple times. If I'm sure I'm just drawing fillets, I can select the multiple option here so that I can draw quite a lot of fillets instead of me always going back to the fillet tool. After I have done this, now I'm going to draw these 3 lines you can see here and these other 3 lines here. We won't really think about getting distances for them. Rather, we'll just snap points that we are sure of these lines are representing. For example, this line here represents this point. The one in the middle represents this point here. The one on the left represents the point here. So we'll go to AutoCAD, select our line tool, snap to this point here until we have end point or quadrant. Just make sure it's the point on the outer of the circle. Then I'll select this point here where there's an X in green, then draw a line going downwards. Most of the times in such cases, when we have our ortho mode on, AutoCAD will be snapping to weird points, for example the midpoint here. To prevent any errors, just extend your line past our drawing like that, then escape. We'll select our line tool again, we'll snap to the midpoint, then go all the way down like that. When you are doing these snaps, don't be too slow with your mouse, because if you are too slow, AutoCAD will pick other points. For example, if I'm here, then accidentally I come here, you will see AutoCAD now has 3 points it's drawing with reference to. If that happens, just press escape, start the procedure again. Quadrant, then all the way down, and select like that. Make sure you selected, and then press escape. We can also just copy these to the left part, but I'll just do them one by one. Midpoint all the way down, just like that, and I'm done. I want to get rid of these lines, so I'll go to modify, select trim. You can select on them like that. To be fast, I'll just kind of draw a line with my mouse So I'll select the left mouse button, hold and drag till I pass through the lines I don't need. Now we just need to place our circle. Our circle here is actually in the center. There are two ways in which we could do it. The easiest is coming to our utilities, the measure tool here, and then looking at the distance in between these two lines. You can see the 40 there, distance between the left line and the right line. After I know it's 40, I know if I want to place a circle in the center, I'm going to need 20. I'll select this shape that we earlier drew. I'll explode it. Go to this tool here, select. What that does is it makes it in parts. Then I'll select this line, select offset. My offset distance is going to be half the 40. Cut. This line is also going to be converted into a center line later. Like that. I'll select center, diameter, come to the midpoint here, then type in 20. If I want to access my previous command, which was circle diameter, I can just press enter. It gives me a wrong one. AutoCAD sometimes will do that. So if it does that, just select your circle and center diameter there. So we're done with our plan. It wasn't a very difficult part. Now from the plan, we'll get the positions of these hidden lines. We'll select line, snap to our quadrant, go the way up. You can see I've snapped to another point. I'll just press escape and redo that. Do a line going all the way up. I can also snap this other point here. That. If you're having problems with snapping, sometimes just use your engineering drawing skills or try to understand the drawing that you're doing. For example, after I have this line, I can just offset a 20 millimeters, because if I check here, this distance here should be 20. You can see is that 20. So understanding your drawing will also help if you've done some engineering drawing. Next, I also do the same snapping. Then I'll trim. I think I also need some lines. Here. What else? I need some lines in the middle there for my center line. Select my line tool. I'll snap to this line, which is the actual center line. Cut. I'll show you how you can easily copy a line. For example, this one here. Select copy. Then I specify my origin or the point from which I'll be copying. Because I want to use the other center line, I'll select this bottom point, then snap to this end point, and go up like that. A quick check will be that these lines that I have drawn must be exactly in the middle. A 10 should be on the right, another 10 on the left. You can see I have got 10, 10. Okay. Our drawing is finally done. Let's just do the finish ups. Let's change our respective lines to be center lines or hidden lines. In AutoCAD, the best way to do that is using layers. So you come to your layers option, select layer properties, and then add new layers. The first layer I'll add is for my outline, but we can skip that. The 0 layer can function as our outline. So go to our center line, and then we'll add another for hidden line. Next, we can change some colors. Under the color there, we can say our center is going to be purple or magenta. Our hidden, let's put it as blue. After that, under line type, we select this word continuous for center line. We'll load a center line. I'll use this center which has 0.5x. That just means my center line is going to have smaller spaces. Before selecting OK, I make sure I've selected center 2. Then hidden, I'll load another line. I'll select hidden 0.5x. Before selecting OK, ensure hidden is selected. After you've done it correctly, you must see that you have center 2 underline type for center line, hidden 2 underline type for hidden line. After that, you can exit here. You can also delete this line. So we'll select all our center lines. So I'm just left clicking on which line I want to select. There should be a center line here also. Go to layers here. In this part, select center line. You also need the center line here. To get this to a center line, since we already have center lines, we'll just select an already center line, go to properties, match properties, and select like that. So all our center lines have been drawn. Next, let's draw our hidden lines. We've already drawn them, we're just changing. So these are the hidden lines. We come to layers, select this point and choose hidden. So this is our drawing that we have. In this video, this is just what I wanted to cover. In the next video, we'll just do some short explaining on how we can do dimensioning, we can put distances on our drawing, and how we can print it out. Before you end, always make sure you save your work. Thanks for watching this video till the end. Hope you've learned a lot about functions of AutoCAD and how you can just do some drawings.